there's something, I guess, nostalgic, but also futuristic about them. Like, trains harken back to a different period of America where we had, among the best public transportation in the world. And I think America's kind of gotten left behind as Europe and parts of Asia have really invested in their rail networks, and they're seeing the real benefits of it. So I think trains kind of, in a way, remind us of our past, but they also show us what our future could be. And I think there's something really special about that.
There was a time when the train would make frequent stops in Winthrop and Reedfield. I grew up on Maranacook Station Lane, which was named after the old Maranacook Station that was frequented by Maine Central Railroad, brought tourists from Boston to their, their lake cottages and some hotels.
There's tracks. Like, there's tracks up to Rockland. It's mostly for, not for passenger rail, but for, commercial.
Yeah.
But I don't know how lucrative it is. I don't know how many people are on a Sunday night, or even, I know in Boston when there's something going on in the TD Garden, the train, even from Saco, is pretty busy.
I think we have the concept of things progressively getting better as time goes on, but really, in terms of Waterville, things have gotten worse transportation-wise. Like 100 years ago, Waterville had many, many round trips a day to Bangor and Boston.
Quite often I also have constituents ask, hey, can we bring the trains back? Can we get the passenger rail back to this area, back to central Maine? It's been a pipe dream of many people since passenger rail stopped in about the 1960s. So it's something that this community has had in the back of their mind for quite some time, and I think that everybody here is just waiting for the next opportunity where we could realize a passenger rail.
People, they can work, you can plug in, do what you want.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a free spirit thing that you don't have to be behind the wheel.
Yeah.
There's something permanent and there's something really valuable about having a train going through a community where a bus, it can reroute the bus and it can go away.
People want the convenience of hopping on a train, going to Boston, going to Portland, Bangor, Orono, whatever college they may attend, instead of having to get in a car, make the drive, find parking, shuffle around in a city.
I'm retired at the end of the day. I just got on the train.
Was to drive back, for Boston.
Yeah.
There's something that you don't get in a car, because in a car it's just your own bubble, but in a train you see people of all walks of life. It's actually kind of a community coming together when you go to a certain destination, which I thought was really interesting. I also think, there's a sense of excitement because I was from the suburbs outside Boston, and taking the train means you're going to the big city. Like it's a sense of like you're going somewhere with a lot of action, a lot of excitement, and I always associated a train ride into Boston with doing something exciting that day. fell everywhere in the United States, and the same thing happened in Maine. A big factor was the rise of the automobile. In the 50s and the 40s, that became affordable for the average middle class family, and at the same time, the U.S. government is subsidizing all these interstates to drive the new cars on.
So there's essentially two reports. One was commissioned by the DOT, a propensity study that was done a few years ago, where the DOT concluded that there's not enough demand for passenger rail expansion to northern Maine, that the riders wouldn't be there to justify the expansion. Because essentially we will need federal help to get this done, and my fear is that after the money in the bipartisan infrastructure deal allocated for passenger rail is gone, I'm not sure that it will ever come back, and without federal support, I'm not sure that we can ever make this happen.
The next station is Ellesmere Station.